Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Keep Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz in the Grizz. It's your boy Trudeau. Thank you for joining us live Tuesday, April 9th, or the next day on podcast. Hook your boys up. Remember, rate, subscribe, review. Great news, five times. We're only 5 views away, records away on podcast to hitting the 1,000 mark. So keep supporting your boys. We appreciate it. 5 more downloads. We're there. All the love in the world to y'all. Good show today. We're going to recap some of the March Madness tournament, both men's and women's. We're going to update our tournament of greatest rappers of all time. We got some other stuff for you in the quick hits, but first, D, what's good?
Happy Tuesday. What it do, baby? It's been a hell of a week. It's only Tuesday, but the weekend was straight. So how was your week?
Good. It would not be an episode of First in the Grizz without my phone dinging at least once. So I'm glad.
Every time it does, I'm just gonna yell message, or I'm gonna get the sound. You know what? That's it. That's one of them. I'm gonna get that one right there. Message sound.
Wait to get your soundboard up and running so we can do that. Did you get a chance to go outside and do the solar eclipse thing?
No, I don't. No.
You don't care?
No, not at all.
Why, you're too cool for school?
No, just not even the least of interest for me when it came to that. It did look really cool outside, though. I won't lie. It was 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not a cloud in the sky, but it looked like it was dusk. So I did like that. I was I messaged my work group. I was just it looks like a scene from a movie outside. But then I was I'm gonna stay inside. I don't need to mess with that.
I didn't like that, man. I walked the dog and it was, that time. It just felt like I was in a dream. Everything just looked so off and weird. It also got really fucking cold. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
What's it like up north?
It was a nice day, man. It was 65, but when that eclipse hit, dude, it got so cold because the sun was blocked out. Your ass was too cool to stay inside, so you would not know.
I did go outside. I just didn't look at the sun. I literally went on my porch. We have a covered porch, so I walked outside. The sun was behind me. I was looks pretty cool out here. The dog walked out behind me, and I was all right, let's go back inside.
I love your enthusiasm for science. I do have something that was fun that I found on the internet this week. I want to bring to you and get your opinion, maybe the audience's opinion as well. I heard of this challenge in baseball. The 9x9x9. Have you heard of this challenge?
No, but I'm very interested now.
All right. Obviously, in baseball, there's 9 innings. That's one of the 9s. 2 things associated with baseball. When you think of baseball, what do you think?
Drinking.
That's another one. 9 beers. Mm-hmm. One more. What's the other 9?
Is it home runs or hits?
Hot dogs.
Glizzies.
So there is a thing for baseball people. I don't think anyone could really do it. I'm sure someone's tried it. 9 innings. Each inning, you must consume 1 hot dog and 1 beer for the entirety of the 9 innings. D, could you do that?
100%.
You could? There's no
100%. Absolutely. Yes. Because I would need to have pre-gamed before getting to the field, right? But when I'm there, Fenway Franks all fucking day. Yeah, if there's something that I do miss about being up north, it was going to Fenway and being able to just house Fenway Franks or the street vendor sausages that. I miss that shit. I'm not gonna lie.
There's nothing better than the sausage people outside of Fenway Park.
Yep. I'll give that right outside of game on. When the game ends, you just you don't even have to leave the stadium. You just smell it on the way down, and you're just yeah, it's calling my name. And one time you'll go over there and be like, all I got is a 10. And they'd be like, all right, here you go. And then the next time you go, you're like, all I got is a 20. And they're like, all right, here you go. And there's never a price associated with it because they know that there's just a bunch of drunk idiots that are walking over there. And as long as you don't say, can I have my change? They're just all right, Dad, have a good one. And you just paid $30 for 2 hot dogs. But yes, 100% could do both of those.
The allure kind of ran off on me. I still work at the place, but my office was right near Fenway. I work from home now, but every day I'd have to walk by the sausage people during baseball season.
Couldn't do it.
And good God, I've stopped a few times. It's 100% worth it. But
you know why? And this is, how everybody has these weird obsessions that you have no idea how you can explain the reason behind it. But I have one, and it involves gas station hot dogs. Like,
That's weird.
it's very strange. I don't get it. I don't know why, but like it was like a thing. If I'm driving somewhere and I get to the gas station and I'm like, you actually go inside for something because nobody pays for it inside anymore. You swipe your card, you leave. But like, say I gotta go inside for something, and I'll look and be like, how long them dogs been on the roller? And they're like 3 days. I'm like, that's good enough. Just grab one, onions, all the ketchup, all that. It just be good. It's disgusting, but it is one of the weird obsessions that I actually have.
Hearing that, I think you might be able to crush the 9x9 because your GI tract must be an absolute champ eating gas station hot dogs. Honestly, I don't think you're getting past the 6th inning. I think you're underestimating how much
a beer
and the hot dog is going to do you in. I mean, I know we watch the guys, the Kobayashis of the world.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Joey Chestnut does like it's nothing.
Pounding hot dogs, man, that sounds tough. I'd tell you what, next time you go to a baseball game, I want you to try the 9x9 challenge. If you could complete it, I'll pay for it.
I will. There's no. We have a AAA team around here. There's no baseball team in the Carolinas, unfortunately.
Okay.
But there is a AAA team, so I'll see if we can go to one of those. If not, I'll try to drive down to like a Braves game and see how that is.
That'd be fun, man. Mm-hmm. I think personally, I would get to the 5th inning and call it. five hot dogs, 5 beers. I can't.
It also depends on what the price is, because if you're at Fenway, that's like $200 in itself. Yeah. just in participating in that event. $10 per beer, $10 per damn hot dog. So yeah, you're flirting at around $200 just to complete this challenge.
I know we don't talk a lot of baseball on this podcast, but that's one thing I like about baseball. People go to baseball, some for baseball, but others just have a good ass time. And this 9x9x9 challenge really highlights the other half that just want to go there and have a good time.
Ain't that the truth? Preach, man.
All right, let's recap some stories from the week and hit our quick hit segment. It's tough to say. It's really good to go into the segment when I have to talk a million miles a minute. Already stumbling over my words.
Let's catch up on some of the sports headlines from the week. It's time for quick hits with my boy Trudeau.
All right, trades in the NFL. Stephon Diggs traded to the Houston Texans. 2nd round pick next year. Couple subsidiary picks. Nothing big there. NBA, Julius Randle downgraded to out for the season. We have a crazy 50-point game. Malachi Flynn, versus the Hawks on 18 for 25 shooting. Fun fact, Malachi Flynn, the player with the lowest career scoring average to ever hit a 50-point game at 5.4 points per game. Oakland A's are playing the remainder of their games for the 25-27 season in Sacramento as they wait for their stadium to be built in Las Vegas. Cy Young frontrunner Spencer Strider out. See you later in MLB for the Braves. Tommy John surgery. UConn champs on the men's side. South Carolina champs on the women's side. We'll talk about that more later. Angel Reese officially declares for the WNBA. See you later, college. And finally, the last headline from college hoops. John Calipari out of there as well, leaving Kentucky for Arkansas. I'm curious to see why that was. I think that's a mutual, you're going to get fired, I'm leaving anyways, see you later. And that is your sporting updates. All right, D, have at it. Which one you like?
There's a couple of them that were actually pretty good. First one that I would want to go about because it's the most recent was and it's relevant. Coach Cal he stayed in the SEC. He left Kentucky and he's going to
Arkansas.
Thank you. How do you? So I'm not even gonna say I'm on the fence with this one. I think I'm stuck with how I feel. How do you feel about his tenure with Kentucky? Like, if you could sum it up in one word.
Peak too early.
Okay,
that's not one word. I would say. He came in. Hot shot coach. You know, he really embraced the one and done, made Kentucky a perennial powerhouse. I think they had a season where they almost went undefeated and they lost in the tournament, or they did not go undefeated. Yeah. They were just dominant Kentucky for 3-4 years. They were the talk of the town, all over Sports Center, all over ESPN. And then everyone just kind of caught up with them for the past 5-6 years. They were still obviously very good, producing NBA talent, finishing the top 25, but he never hit that peak that he hit right off the gate. And yeah, I just think at this point, it's one of those things where Kentucky is a lot like Alabama football, Kentucky basketball, Alabama football. The expectations are very high, is what I'm saying. And if you're not, why you're making a stank face at me?
Oh my goodness! Do not disrespect. As much as I can't stand Alabama, do not disrespect them and compare them to Alabama.
I mean it in the respect of the expectations. Like Alabama has one loss, and fans want to fire the coach. Kentucky finishes top 10 and produces 2 NBA players. It's not good enough. They want to fire the coach. So I just think he was not meeting those high expectations. Fan base was getting unruly. He just took the opportunity to take the bag and run when he could.
Okay, I got 2 words for you, and it's not Degeneration X, I promise, but it is involving underachiever and overrated.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible recruiter. I'll give him that. If you want to compare him to Nick Saban, I'll give you that. But I'm just going to name some names in regards to who he coached. Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Jamal Murray. That's not including DeMarcus Cousins or John Wall. Nerlens Noel, while he was dominant at Kentucky, obviously didn't pan out in the NBA, but college-wise. Will Cauley-Stein, really good player, obviously. Like the names that jump off of the board that he coached, and to only have one national championship, I don't care about the one and done. He did it. He embraced it. I get that. I'll give him a little credit for that. While other coaches like Coach K were against it, Coach K won multiple national championships. Roy Williams won multiple national championships in this era. Dan Hurley, who we're about to talk about, has won multiple national championships and have not produced as many top tier, not even just NBA picks, lottery picks, guys that are going within like the first 5 picks of the NBA. And there's no way that you can have that much talent and lose in the tournament every single year. They have like the most losses to double digit seeds. That means that they're just not prepared for the moment. Obviously, when they get to the NBA, they're studs. But that's coaching. And I think Cal will go down as, to me, as a very overrated and underachieved coach because of what he brought to that school and has nothing to show for it for the school now that he's gone. People are going to walk through the stadium and be like, yo, we had DeMarcus Cousins. Last national championship was 20 years ago. Like that doesn't hold weight in college basketball.
Yeah, I just think it's tough to compare because you just talked about Dan Hurley. Obviously, UConn just went back to back, right? And forgive my ignorance if I'm wrong, but I don't believe UConn has a lot of NBA talent.
Not right now, no.
No. I think there is a benefit in college basketball of having experience over the young, highly talented players. You know, the one and done is cool because you get a lot of flashy, very exciting, high upside players. But even in the NBA, like some of these high upside players, you don't see them actually break through until year 2, 3, 4 of the NBA. With Coach Cal in Kentucky, he's having to play these 18-year-old kids, and they're playing against grown-ass men that are 22, 23, fifth-year seniors in some of these schools. So to just say that he was unsuccessful because he only won one national championship, I think it's more a product of the way he built teams made him susceptible to losses in these very high-pressure one-and-done scenarios.
No.
Okay.
Agree. Yeah, we're going to. I will name. So this is the team that makes me say overrated and underachieved. 2014, 2015 Kentucky Wildcats. You want to hear this lineup? Go ahead. I'll give it to you.
Well, let me know what their record was too and how they lost.
I don't have their record. My apologies.
What was the year? I'll look it up.
2014, 2015.
All right.
So this roster involved Devin Booker at the 1, the Harrison brothers, Aaron and Andrew at the 2 and 3, Tyler Ulis, who was a great bench player, NBA player, Karl Anthony Towns, all NBA player, and Willie Cauley-Stein. At the time, lottery pick in 6'10", big, that was athletic. You cannot tell me that just because some dude is in college for 2 or 3 years more, that culmination of starters and bench players can't win a national championship.
I mean, you're talking about a team, D. You're talking about a team that went undefeated in the regular season
and lost in the national championship. That's what I'm talking about.
D. It's
Zach Edey, one person, 7'4", 300 pounds, brought his team to the national championship.
I'm getting mad frustrated with you.
Good.
Because
you needed this.
You see the NBA and you see 1-8 matchups all the time in the playoffs, and the 8 seed wins a game.
Because they're NBA players.
Let me finish this, please. You see the Washington Wizards beat the Milwaukee Bucks in a 1-game sample size. The reason why NBA has 7 games in a series, they even went from 5 to 7 because they want a bigger sample size to make sure the best team actually wins. 1-game sample size, you get one team hot from 3, or one dude goes off, or weird shit happens in a game, you lose and you're out. You're criticizing a team that lost 1 game, went 38-1, and you're calling them failures because a 1-game sample size they lost. It's absurd.
No, so what I'm gonna do to talk about that is it's not a 1-game sample size. This is over 15 years of him coaching at Kentucky to get 1 national championship. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just the 2014, 2015 season. It's him being at that school for as long as he was to produce 1 national championship since 2009. That's what I'm talking about. And that's just one of the lineups. I'm not going back to when he had John Wall, All-American, All-NBA, most valuable play, number 1 draft pick. Like, I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back. He won with AD.
Let me ask you this.
Oddly enough, right? He won with Anthony Davis, but that was it.
The NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, do you believe they're a championship team right now?
Yes.
Okay. Many people would say if you had to pick a team out of the West, not many people would pick the Oklahoma City Thunder. And their one ding on them would be inexperience.
Yeah.
And that is my point with Kentucky. Because when you do this one and done thing, your team is awfully inexperienced. And when you're playing these high pressure 1-game sample sizes, things are going to go bad because of the types of players you have on those teams. And that's not the coach. I mean, you could criticize his philosophy.
That is coaching. If you don't got your team prepared for that game, and give me a break. The 18-year-old kids that are going to the NBA.
This Cal part.
I know. But that was the only one that I was like, yo, I've been hearing it all day of people saying, good for Arkansas. He's gonna flip it, and he was able to do blah 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 with Kentucky. I was like, he didn't do shit with Kentucky. The school, he got a lot of NBA players to go to the league, but 1 national championship in 15 years, miss me with that, bro. Like, if you want to talk about Bama, they got rid of Nick Saban because he went 2 years without getting a national championship. That's the difference between the two. And on the way to him leaving or being removed from his position, he had won 6 national championships prior. That's not 1 in 15 years.
All I know is Arkansas is going to be mighty happy because that program is going to be important. They're going to be legitimate now.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah, he can recruit. I ain't going to be mad at the way that he recruits. I'm just saying, coaching.
Kentucky can get a better coach. Like, you think there's okay. So it's a lose for Kentucky then, even though
yes, it's a lose because he came in. He did a 1 and done. He did exactly what the players did. I got y'all 1 championship in 15 years. Be happy.
I just don't know how he's such a bad coach and overrated, but he's still a loss for Kentucky by losing.
100% overrated for me.
The one thing I was actually wanted to touch on really quick, I don't think you have any interest in it, but you might. The A's thing I thought was really interesting.
Very. So I wrote that down actually. Why can't Oakland I know that they're leaving no matter what, but why do they just we don't want you here?
Because I believe the ballpark is part publicly financed or something, and the city of Oakland's like, double middle fingers to you.
Yeah.
If you want to break up with us, no, we're breaking up with you. So the A's are forced to now be homeless essentially, not have a home stadium. They're playing in Sacramento in a AAA park, and it's like a sad ballpark with 10,000 seats. And trust me, they still won't sell it out.
No, they won't.
And they'll have to wait for the stadium to be built in Las Vegas, which will probably be a couple years from now. The one thing I don't understand is I believe there's a minor league team in Reno, Nevada. Just send them to Reno and start building up the fan base in Nevada and Las Vegas. But they'd rather play in Sacramento. The whole thing's just, I don't know, bush, good term for baseball. It's all bush league. I mean,
being a player.
It's a tough look. And the A's are just the laughing stock of any professional franchise. They have the lowest payroll by far. I think it's somewhere around the 30 million mark. I think it's 20 to 30 million lower than the next lowest payroll in baseball. They've done nothing but lose. They're leaving their hometown and have nowhere else to go. It's just, the whole thing's just a joke. And God, the A's just need new ownership.
I don't understand how there can't be somebody that just like breaks the bank with them, because it's share revenue. So like, it's not like they can't max player someone, right? I don't know the phrase, what it is for baseball. They can't.
Well, that's the thing. You're saying, why don't they just go break the bank and get someone? Is that your point?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point, D. It's revenue sharing. So let's just say, I'm going to make the math really easy. Let's say there's 10 teams in baseball and they all get to split. Let's just do $100, right? So everyone's money goes in a pot and $100 goes out to everyone. $10 goes out to everyone. Not everyone's payroll has to be $10. Some people's payroll is $15, which means they're operating at a minus $5 operating cost. Some teams, their payrolls are only $2, which means they're profiting $8. So the A's are one of these welfare teams that basically refuse to sign players and increase their payroll, and they're collecting checks from the teams that are spending money. So the Dodgers, the Yankees, the teams that have big budgets are actually paying the A's to suck.
That's bullshit, and that's dumb for the league, whoever the commissioner is, to allow that to happen.
Rob Manfred.
Yeah, I don't care about baseball enough to look too deep into it or research it, but like, that's stupid. That like there's no team that's that in the NFL. Even the Panthers can't do something like that. What's up?
So the TV rights are all revenue shared, unless the TV broadcast, I believe, is like a regional sports, like for example,
Network for the Yankees.
Yes Network is owned by the Yankees. Like a lot of teams are doing this. You know what the biggest one of the biggest bullshit is with baseball? If you go online to MLB.com and buy yourself an Aaron Judge jersey because you love the Yankees, that money that goes into that you're putting into buying that jersey goes into the pot that's revenue shared. So the A's are profiting off that. And the worst thing is, because teams like the Dodgers are over the tax, even if they're bringing in a fuck ton of money, they're actually putting extra money into the pot because they're over the luxury tax. So they're actually paying the poor teams even more than they would normally if they were just...
As they got Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and the dude. The dude that bets on shit.
Yeah, so that is why some teams like the A's and the Marlins and some of these bad teams refuse to spend money, because they're...
Marlins went to the World Series a couple of years ago, at least.
That was a while ago, man. That was like 10 years ago now at this point.
Was it?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, the A's are going to continue to be a laughing stock of a franchise until their owner sells the team and they get someone who actually wants to win. But right now, they're going to be the Sacramento A's for the next couple of years.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that is gross. Anything in Sacramento, yuck. Deed, did you enjoy the games this weekend?
Absolutely. Both men's and women's side were very entertaining.
Did you have a favorite?
I mean, for the men's side, I wanted to see Edie go out because like the dude was ridiculous, obviously ridiculously talented. Just by his stature, we compared him. We said it's like a more athletic Yao Ming.
No, he's not. He's like a same athletic or less.
No, he is much more. His feet work. Yao's feet work was very underrated, but Edie rim protection and being able to actually pass out of the double teams, Yao Ming couldn't do that.
That's fine. Rim protection's fine. I watched part of that game. Zach Edey playing perimeter defense when they pull him out makes Rudy Gobert look like a sprinter.
Rudy Gobert is not 7'4", 300 pounds. Big difference between the two. But yes, I was pulling for Purdue to pull the upset just because unfortunately they didn't get it done, but it's good to see UConn take it down. Around here was pretty cool when it was State versus Purdue. You know, the pride. There was literally a block party in my neighborhood from like the start of the street all the way down the street of cars because everybody was, you know, at their, you know, friends or family's house watching the game. So that was cool. UConn and Bama was, you know, a dominated game by UConn again in the second half. Really cool good first half. The second half was a snooze fest because UConn's just that much better. And then on the women's side, I think both Final Four games were way more entertaining than the national championship game. LSU Iowa came down to essentially 1 or 2 possessions. The unfortunate foul out with oh my goodness, Angel Reese fouled out, offensive foul. That, you know, who knows if that actually happened or whatnot. And then the UConn USC game was really good. You know, I like the Juju Watkins versus Paige Beckers back and forth. Came down to again a couple of possessions at the end, and UConn pulled it out. And then the national championship, UConn and SC and Iowa. That was just a great matchup, great game. But it just came down to just Don Staley's team being absolutely dominant. So it wasn't as entertaining. We'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina. We were talking before the show about what this women's South Carolina basketball team could be historically. I brought up the, you know, many season undefeated UConn Huskies. I asked Dee if this South Carolina team was better than him. He said no, they went like 4 years without losing. But I was posing the question to you before the show: could Dawn Staley and the South Carolina team become this dynastic team that rolls into next year not losing a game, wins into the national championship? Because a lot of the contributors in this game, you know, outside their star player, were young, you know, freshmen, sophomores who will be there 2-3 more years.
They had to be, because their entire class last year went to the WNBA. Their starters went to the NBA outside of Cardoza. But I think your comparison, I think, is going to be more for me. I thought I'd wait for this. Is more the Golden State Warriors run. Win a championship, lose a championship, win 2. I think that this is theirs versus like a Chicago Bulls, which is what I believe UConn was with Breanna Stewart. The Bulls ripped off 3 straight, and the only reason why they didn't win a championship, a fourth one, is because Jordan retired both times. Like, they could have easily won 4 in a row in the early 90s, and they could have easily won 4 in a row in the late 90s, but Jordan retired twice. And for UConn, it was that run with Breanna Stewart and Gino Auriemma coaching. Like, they were just undefeated for 4 seasons. SC, although they only lost 37-1 last season. The one loss was to Iowa and Caitlin Clark in the semis. Like, that's still a great run, but I think this is similar to the Warriors winning their first championship. Then they get the 72-9 season, lose in the finals, and then they rip off 2 more championships, right? With KD, obviously. Not saying that somebody's coming in to be KD, but just the team aspect of win 1, lose 1, rip off 2 more because of how dominant you are.
Yeah, the craziest thing about the South Carolina-Iowa game, I think Caitlin Clark was still pretty good. They made life hell for her. They threw a lot of double teams. They threw everything at her. She still put up 30. It was pretty inefficient scoring, but I mean, she tried to will this team to win. You know, looking at this Iowa team all year, it's been the Caitlin Clark show. No offense to the ladies on the team with her, but they're obviously not at her level. And South Carolina really exposed that in this game. If you look at the bench scoring, I just wrote it down really quick. The bench scoring for South Carolina, they scored 87 total points. Of that, their bench scored 37 of the 87. Iowa scored 75 points. D, do you know how many bench points were put up by Iowa?
I'm going to go ahead and guess none, because they couldn't really put their bench in.
A big goose egg. Their bench played a total of 18 minutes in the entire game.
Yeah, you couldn't. You had to keep the starters out there. You just had to. Although women's basketball a little different because they get quarters. I think it's a little easier for you to just sprint for 10 minutes than it is to sprint for 20. So I think there is a little bit of a difference with that. And I apologize because I misspoke when I wrote. I'm used to seeing USC and thinking the Trojans. I talked about Juju Watkins at UConn earlier. I
Yeah,
meant USC, South Carolina. You should have corrected me because I looked at it and I was like, why did I say
well,
USC? But I wrote it down USC, thinking University of Southern California, not University of Southern Cal.
first you mentioned Iowa versus LSU, so I thought you were talking about 2 weeks ago, and then you mentioned USC versus UConn. And I'm like, he's just talking about games from the Elite Eight, I guess. I'm confused.
No, I was all over the place with that. So I wrote down names and then I just didn't say what I needed to, with it being South Carolina, NC State in the Final Four, and then UConn, Iowa. The UConn Iowa game was the offensive foul that who knows if it was an offensive foul,
It was not.
the moving pick. So like that's where my wires got crossed because I was thinking of Angel Reese getting fouled out for some reason, and that was when she did, she committed an offensive foul. So my wires were all crossed, man. We do this at 9:00 at night, and sometimes it bothers me.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean, it's just super impressive what South Carolina was able to do this season. They did not play a single game in this tournament, I believe. Let me see their closest game in this tournament. I don't know if there's any single digit games that they played.
Not in the tournament, no.
They played Indiana, which was a 4-point game, but other than that, everything was above double digits. So super impressive. And to me, one of the most important things looking forward was it wasn't just Camila Cardoza. This team was deep from top to bottom. They had young players coming off the bench contributing in a high level championship game, and they looked great. So I'm looking forward to see where they go next year. I'm hoping that the energy stays the way it is going into next year for the women's side of the college basketball tournament, because it was really fun this year. I know we're going to lose some stars to the WNBA, but there's still a lot of young players coming through, and some really great teams after this year.
2 points to make for it, one being for the game, one being for the brand of women's basketball. First, I don't think enough credit is being thrown out there for one Raven Johnson. Her defense, you can't do it in the WNBA because there's 4 other women that are going to be damn good. Obviously, that's the reason why they're in the league. But she picked her up 94 feet and mirrored her the entire game. She's like, you are not going to Haley Von Lith me. Nope. But she's also the girl that Caitlin Clark waved off last year when she was at the 3-point line. I remember that being a big thing. She was at the 3, and then she chose to not shoot it. And Clark was like, I'm not guarding you. Take the fucking shot. And she didn't take it. And so this season, people were like, oh, she's on a warpath. She wants to meet Caitlin Clark. And did she ever? She's going to get her 40, right? That's greats are going to get their 40. But it's how hard did you make them work to get their 40? And did you make it so that nobody else could score? That's exactly what happened. They were like, go ahead and shoot 30 shots, 35 shots to score 40 points. But we're going to make it so that you can't get the ball to anybody else. And a big shout to Raven Johnson for stepping up in the biggest game of her career. Her defense was incredible. And the second point I wanted to make was about college basketball for women and next year moving on. They're in good hands. There's 2 stars that one plays for the University of UConn, which I thought they were going to be able to pull it through, and that's Paige Beckers. She's already said she's coming back for another season. And then next player is who her coach said, I don't want to see her again. And that's Juju Watkins out at USC. I think that's part of the reason why I had USC on the mind, who is just one of the most gifted women athletes that has ever graced the basketball. Her post game, her dribbling, her shooting, her just the way that she moves around the court is very smooth, like Kyrie-esque. And I think that's going to help elevate the game as well. We may not see scoring and shooting like Steph Curry wise, again in the game of women's basketball, but I think Caitlin Clark left it in a good spot.
All right, ask some crazy shit before you get off and go to the men's side. Just about the growth of the women's game, because that's been the big theme this year, Caitlin Clark and all the media coverage. First, just something anecdotal. I went to the gym on Sunday, got a nice little leg day in, did my squats, right? Did my deadlifts. But as I walk up to the gym, my gym has a basketball court, You have to walk by it when you go to the weight room. And there's a little girl, she's probably like 8 years old, shooting around with her dad. Championship Sunday for the women's game. Caitlin Clark jersey,
Love
Iowa.
that.
And I was just like, damn, this women's game is legit growing, because you might see a couple years ago this little girl at the gym wearing a Steph Curry jersey, a Jaylen Brown jersey, Jason Tatum jersey, but repping the Caitlin Clark Iowa jersey, I was like, wow, this is like really growing. You can actually see a grassroots moment. And then just numbers wise, Iowa LSU, 12 million viewers.
Broke the record. Yep.
Broke the record until Iowa UConn, 14 million. Broke the record until Iowa South Carolina championship game, 18 million viewers. Guess what? You're thinking to yourself, what does that even mean, 18 million? Context. This was the highest rated, most watched basketball game since the 2016 NBA Finals.
Is that Cavs Warriors?
Yes. So this game between Iowa and South Carolina did more than any finals game in the NBA the past 4 or 5 years.
That's awesome.
That's insane. I will say, shout out to the women's side, putting the game on at 3 p.m. on a Sunday. Made it very easy to watch.
Nap time, baby.
Unlike, let me transition to the men's side. I was fucking rip shit when I'm like, oh, there's
9 o'clock.
There were no NBA games on yesterday, so I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I guess I'll watch the national championship game. Let me see. It's probably on right now. I'm looking at 8 o'clock. It's on at 9. The tip off was 9 fucking 20. Are you kidding me?
I was kind of pissed about that too, because I had played. This is how I got set up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw it on in the background. Like, I just finished up my work day. Girls asleep. I'm gonna go ahead and play a quick game of 2K. I'm gonna go ahead and play a quick game of Madden, and like it should be like halftime by then. Nope, tip off. I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to keep playing video games. Like, I wanted to watch this while I was playing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go lay down in the living room. But yeah, men's game didn't do it right when it came to the tip off time. I know that it was on a Monday, but those kids are out of school, man. Tip it off at 7 o'clock. Good game in the first half, and then just controlled in the second half. UConn has been an absolute, I would say, freight train in the second half of every single game they played this tournament, where the depth chart just, it's one after another player stepping up, and then Tristan Newton being the AP tournament player of the year, like dropping 20 like it's nothing, whether it's a jump shot that you need to hit at the mid-range or going right at Edie. That layup that he hit was that like weird floater hook shot, throw it over the 7-footer. Looked ugly, but it went in, but it was smooth at the same time. I don't know how he's able to do that, but it was a great coach game, and Hurley deserves his flowers for what he's been able to do over the past 2 seasons with that school.
Yeah, I mean, this is a super impressive feat for Hurley and UConn. The last team to go back-to-back championships was the 06-07 Florida Gators. If you remember that team
was stacked too.
It was a team with Joakim Noah, Al Horford. Who else was in there? There was a couple another NBA players as well.
I'll try to find it for you.
Yeah, you can find it for me. My biggest thing was for me, Iowa. I'm still thinking about the last game. Purdue got to this point based mostly on Zach Edey and his greatness in college. I really appreciate the way UConn attacked Zach Edey. They put him in a lot of difficult situations where they did high pick and roll where he had to move away from the basket. He's obviously very good in the paint as a shot blocker. He had some really impressive blocks in the first half when they did try to attack him under the paint. But as the game progressed, they did more screens away from the basket, and the guards were able to kind of get around him with speed and get some layups in. And they put him in some tough situations. And also, I thought UConn center, another big fella himself at 7'2", Donovan Clingan, did a really good job matching up with him in the post. He got beat a few times on some really tricky post moves, but overall he held his ground. He was obviously very well coached. He kind of knew his tendencies, and I think he put up 30-10 or something like that. But still, I thought overall, they did a fairly good job slowing him down and game planning well against Purdue.
Yeah, the plan was to get everyone else to try to score, and I think I get the teams mixed up. Purdue did have a secondary scorer. I want to say it was Braden Smith was his name. He was like their pseudo point guard, 2 guard, swinger, and whatnot. And he struggled. I'm looking at it now, 4 for 12. Like there was no secondary score on their team. There was a big highlight dunk from their bench player. I think his name was Camden Hyde. But like there was nothing outside of just feeding the post to Edey. Their 3-point shooting was 1 for 7. And if you compare that to the week prior, where like they were, beating up either Tennessee or NC State, they were hitting outside shots, which kept them in those games. 10 for 25, and although it's 10 for 25, like that's still an extra 30 points that they received from shooting the 3-point shot compared to last night where they had 1. So I think good.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I thought you were done. My apologies.
It's cool, man. You can just continue cutting me off. It's cool.
I'm really good at it. I did get the 06-07 for
I have it here for you.
Too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you give me the players. How about this? We go back and forth. You give me one, I'll give you one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Taurine Green, NBA player.
Corey Brewer.
Al Horford.
Lee Humphrey.
Joakim Noah.
That was the 5.
I have Marquise Spates on this as well.
I don't know. No, that's Maurice Spates. Yeah, I mean, I think he was there, but I don't think he played. He was a freshman.
Okay.
I don't think he played. That team was led by them being juniors and seniors.
By the way, just a random callback. We talked about Malachi Flynn putting up an unexpected 40. Corey Brewer, remember he put that a 50 piece
randomly?
Randomly, not a score at all.
Not only did he do that, he has probably the most egregious travel in the history of the NBA. We can't show it, obviously, because it's a podcast and show live, whatnot. But if you get a chance, just YouTube Corey Brewer travel. This man caught the ball. I don't know if it was a missed shot or a pass, but I can't remember. But he caught the ball at half court, and he didn't dribble to dunk. He literally didn't dribble. Just little, like 6 mini steps. And apparently, refs are like, well, there's a gather step, there's the load step, there's the jump step. So it's not a travel. And it's like, no, he fucking traveled. Like he literally didn't dribble the ball from half court to the hoop, and he dunked it. So yes, the most egregious, something I'll always remember from Corey Brewer is one of the worst non-travel calls in the history of the NBA. It's bad.
I'm trying to look up. So Zach Edey's a senior this year.
Yes.
So Purdue basketball probably back to mediocrity after this.
Yep.
I don't know what Zach Edey's future is. I don't think he's an NBA player. He probably might be an overseas player or something like that if he so chooses.
I feel like just his frame though can be used. If there's dudes in the league like a DeAndre Jordan right now or Andre Drummond right now, like how can Edey not be somebody's 7th man, 6th man off the bench? What Boban not the Bogdanovich, Marjanovic.
Boban, Boban.
Yes, him.
Boban. Everyone knows Boban.
He plays in the league, and exactly. But Edey is a little bit more offensively gifted. At least he can post up and do a move, shimmy, shake here, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy there. Like he can do something in the post. I just don't. I don't see the AP Player of the Year just not getting drafted. Unless it's like the dude, huh?
Boban's Taco Fall.
No, he was better than Taco Fall. And Taco Fall got drafted in the NBA and played. So like you're proving my point.
If this was the year 1996,
he's going number 1 overall.
Going number 1 overall. In 2024, man, if he is on a roster, it would be like he's not getting drafted, obviously. It'd be something like he signs to a summer league contract and someone likes him and maybe he does like a 2-way contract, but I don't see it, man. I see him more as like a overseas player somewhere, China or somewhere in the Euro leagues.
I think that's tough. If that is the case, that sucks for him because of his talent, especially when you have a nothing against the kid, I wish nothing but the best. Well, you have a Bronny James declaring for the NBA, a 6'5", undersized two-way guard. But he could get drafted, you know what I'm saying? And that's like, I think I would much rather have a Zach. I'm not saying Bronny can't be something at some point. And I know he came back from an incredible heart, situation. Cardiac arrest is no joke. So I'm glad that he was able to play basketball, live, and then play basketball. We'll say that.
Shout out to being alive.
Yeah, man. Big DeMar Hamlin type thing. But like, it's good that he's been talked about. I don't see how someone like Bronny James could get drafted, but not Zach Edey. That's what I would be.
Bronny James would not get drafted in any world unless they think it would be a package deal with LeBron. If his name wasn't Bronny James and if
it wasn't LeBron James Jr., he probably wouldn't be getting drafted.
It was Bronny Smith. He's not getting drafted. He also cleared for transfer portal and draft. So I think it's one of those things where, like, if there's any indication that he's not getting drafted, which
he's just going to transfer. Yeah.
Just going to transfer, which he probably should. Yeah, I mean, apart from the Zach Edey thing, they're just going back to the two teams. UConn looks like they're set up, man. They have a really good system, good coach, and they have a lot of players that they can bring back, and they're building something special. I did have a random question I was talking to my wife about. She asked me, why is like UConn so good? Like, it's just a very random school to be good at things. Like the rest of their sports, no one really cares about. We don't think of Connecticut as a basketball powerhouse.
Whoa. No one cares about? Of all people representing Dartmouth High School, you're going to say that UConn has nothing else your boy JT going there and Anthony Sherman going there, and you can't talk about UConn football? Come on.
You want to talk about about UConn football. Go ahead. They had a good run though when they were there. They went to the Fiesta Bowl.
I was gonna say they went to a BCS Bowl.
Ever since JT left, they've been awful. But no, but I have a theory. Like, I'm just thinking, where do you think some of the best basketball players are in the world?
Out west, Cali,
but I would also say the Mecca of basketball,
New York
City. And I'm trying to think of, like, what are the legitimate schools in New York City, like the big schools?
Hughes.
That's upstate New York. That's farther than UConn.
Okay. I don't know. What is around there?
St. John's, maybe?
Is it UConn?
That is my point. I think UConn benefits from being the most prestigious historic basketball program in, an hour and a half vicinity of New York City.
No, I mean, they got one New York player on their team.
Okay.
Yeah, they only got one. He's from Queens, the center, Hassan Diarra. Everybody else is from Massachusetts, Southborough. Wow. Shout out to Southborough.
Nice.
A couple of Connecticut kids, a couple of Maryland, a couple of Georgia and Virginia. So a lot of Northeast. I'll give them that. Definitely a lot of Northeast. Farthest is the dude that's from Texas, which was Tristan Newton, player of the year, player of the tournament. Sorry. Jalen Stewart was from Seattle. He's a freshman, but I don't know if he played all that much. He did play, actually. Yeah.
Right, so you totally debunked my theory, and
sorry, man. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think it's just the fact that UConn brings value based off of winning and bringing national championships to the school. You got greats like Ray Allen, you got Rip Hamilton, Emeka Okafor, Kemba Walker in his heyday. Like, these are dudes that, like, they're not only just cut players at the college level, but champions in college and in the pros. So, like, I think that separates the NCs or the Kentuckys or even Dukes when, like, they have high prestigious coaches and those coaches get them to go to those schools. But UConn's just got the reputation of continuously winning no matter what stage college basketball is in.
I wonder if it helps too that they are primarily just a basketball school.
Yeah.
Like, you're a basketball player there, you're a god.
Yeah, very true.
Pretty nice.
They're not they're not splitting Duke and North Carolina trying to be football schools right now. And it's like, chill out, stick to basketball.
They're not bad. All right, let's close out this tournament and go to a different tournament. Update our greatest rappers of all time tournament, where we are in the finals ourselves. So like I said, I probably butchered explaining it last week, but we had the final four set in stone when we met last week. We are down to the finals. Or no, we had the Elite 8 set last week, and we went to the final four, and then we did another round and got to the final two. So we are now with the championship game, which we will open up voting this week. Again, it's on X at Frizz and Grizz. So find us so you can vote there. Rather than show you the bracket and what has played out in this past week with the voting of the fans, I'm going to play for you a song each from each of the finalists that will be playing for the title of the greatest rapper of all time. So our first championship team, the 1 seed.
Psych, new, Hank, go, big yeah. Y'all know how this shit go, you know. All eyes on me, motherfucker. Roll up in the club and shit. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. You know what? I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the funk, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils be sorry for the day they finally freed me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live the life of a boss player. Cause even when I'm high, fuck with me and get cross later. The future's in my eyes. Cause all I want is cash and things. A 5 double O, bands wanting flashy brains. Bitches pursue me like a dream. Been known to disappear before your eyes. It's like a dope thing. It seems my main thing was to be major. Paid the game sharper than the...
So our first championship team, the number 1 seed, Tupac, obviously a very worthy team to make it to the championship. I think he was the number 2 overall in the tournament. Actually, I think no, he's the number 1 going.
Pac was the one. Yeah, Pac
he was the number 1 overall seed going into the tournament. So similar to UConn going to their tournament. A bit of a Cinderella run for our next championship contender. We have a 5 seed making it all the way to the finals. I do love the chaos in our tournament, and I appreciate all the voters making this happen. The next championship team is this.
So come on and tickety check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check. You better check yourself or you wreck yourself, cause I'm bad for your health. I come real stealth, dropping bombs on your moms. Fuck call alarms. You a foul crime mob, that nigga with your Alpine soda for 6-0. Always let tricks know, and friends know we got that endo. No, I'm not a sucker, sitting in a house of pain. And no, I'm not the butler, I'll cut ya, head cut ya. You say you can't touch this, and I wouldn't touch ya, punk motherfucker. Here to let you know, boy, oh boy, I make dope. But don't call me dope, boy, this ain't no fucking motion picture. I got your bitch up, my nigga get with ya.
So our other championship team, Ice Cube, the 5 seed with the Cinderella run, taking out a lot of high seeds on the way. So we have Tupac versus Ice Cube to find out who the greatest rapper of all time is. D, what do you think of the matchup?
I like that it got here. Let me go ahead and share this just so people can see exactly what how it broke down.
Right.
I love that it got to these two. I was expecting definitely somebody to come out of the left side different. You know, I had I think it was Drake and 50 Cent were my two, but I think Ice Cube is underappreciated with the way that he actually what he brings to the rap game. Tupac, we know he can hit every style of music making, whether it's fast rap, slow rap, R&B hits. He hit pop when he was, you know, certain tracks, radio tracks that he, you know, that can stick for a very long time. Changes is still on the radio, obviously. But if we're gonna talk about like lyric play and like hardcore rap, like the NWA and Q back in the 90s, he did his thing. So like it's not a surprise to see him here with what he can actually do. it's just crazy to see that he's beat some pretty good competition to get here, obviously.
Yeah, I think with Ice Cube, you cannot separate NWA from Ice Cube itself. So we're not taking just Ice Cube solo stuff here. We're also wrapping in NWA because maybe it's just me, but for me, Ice Cube was NWA. I know that Eazy and Dr. Dre obviously had a very prominent producing career, but Ice Cube was by far, in my opinion, the strongest rapper in that group. Most of their most popular songs, Ice Cube's the one jumping off at the first verse. And he had a very successful solo career himself. Not only that, so you have a person who was a prominent member in a group that propelled gangster rap to like huge prominence in NWA, super successful solo career, very successful acting career.
Yes.
And then very successful businessman and now owning like a sports league in the Big Three, which, I know it's a bit of a sideshow, but still like this man has been able to remain a prominent figure for over 30 years. So shout out to Ice Cube, man. He deserves his flowers here.
Absolutely. Being able to be like to mold with the times, right? When you said that he has obviously the most memorable lines in most NWA songs, but he also has the hooks to it, or I would say phrases that people remember. Fuck the police, like that.
I was gonna play that. I was debating playing that song for my introduction for Ice Cube, but yeah, let's just do it now because I wanted to play it on the show.
Right about now, NWA court is in full effect. Judge Dre residing. In the case of NWA versus the police department, prosecuting attorneys are MC Red, Ice Cube, and Easy motherfucking E. Order. Ice Cube, take the motherfucking stand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help your black ass? You goddamn right. Won't you tell everybody what the fuck you gotta say? Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. And not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Fuck that shit cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun to be beaten on and thrown in jail. We can go toe to toe in the middle of a sale. Fucking with me cause I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. Searching my car, looking for the product, thinking every nigga is selling narcotics. You rather see me in the pen than me and Lorenzo rolling in a benzo. Be the police out of shape, and when I finish, bring the yellow tape to tape off the scene of the slaughter. Still getting swole up bread and water.
I think Ice Cube absolutely deserved to beat Drake, which he did as far as a rapper, and beat Lil Wayne as far as rapping. Those guys, club bangers. Ice Cube, fucking rap fucking genius.
This is just what's it called? Fuck the police, but like he has the same thing in Straight Outta Compton. Hey yo, Dre, I got something to say.
Yes.
And he drops his line, and it's just like he did it right. I think he got out of the rap game at the right time when people were killing motherfuckers and whatnot, and then he kind of like geared his life towards making money, movies and whatnot. And I think the music that he put out between 88 and 94 was just absolutely incredible.
On the flip side, I think Tupac is a very worthy opponent. Obviously, an illustrious career, a lot of radio hits still played today, a lot of his messages still carried today. Obviously, he had a bit of a acting career as well, and I think what he has that Ice Cube doesn't have is obviously when you die a tragic way, you're going to be remembered in a higher light, and I think Tupac has that advantage for him. But one thing with Tupac that I do appreciate, and I will give him the edge over Ice Cube personally, is some of his work had a softer side.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Mama.
Yep.
Right. So like he has one of the most ridiculous diss tracks and hit him up, but he also has some raps with a softer side and a lot of emotion that isn't like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So he is, in my opinion, a more rounded rapper.
Yep.
But I fucking love Ice Cube's style of just super aggressive, punchy in the face style rap. But for me, Tupac, because of his versatility, and because some of his messages still carry really strong today, I would pick Tupac over Ice Cube in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even mention Ghetto Gospel,
Yep.
which is another great song that he has. Trying to think, there's another one that I feel like I used to hear it all the time, and I can't remember what it was. I Ain't Mad at You.
Okay.
It's another good song, another good slower style like R&B, but like rap song that he has. He hit Thug's Mansion being another one. He hit so many different styles and was able to cater to so many different markets in the music industry. Different people at different parts of their lives were able to relate to Tupac's music. And even nowadays, like I said, Changes is still on the radio. And the verses that he has in Changes are still like truthful to this day. So, like, he was way ahead of it. No, he was properly placed in the 90s time, but he was thinking way ahead of his time compared to where we are right now as a society, knowing that shit wasn't going to be much different from where he was in the 90s.
I was going to say, do we have to put that on him as some sort of prophet, or more of just like things have been fucked up for a long time?
Shit's been the same, bro. Like, different shit, same toilet. It just happens to be, or same shit, different toilet. I think that's what it is. It just happens to be more broadcast now. There's social media showing everything.
That's fair.
It's really not much change. We don't need to get like too deep into that, but like it's the same stuff. It just happened. Tupac saw what was going on and was able to put it on tracks and do a music, and now it's just out there on social media.
All right, one more Tupac song, your choice, before we get out of here and close out.
My choice. Oh, you could have.
I'll just jump on with it and pick one if you want. Go ahead.
Let me listen to some How Do You Want It. That's a nice little R&B with Casey and JoJo. I like that one.
I got you.
How do you want it? How did you feel? Coming up as a nigga in the cash can, living in the fast lane, not for real. How do you want it? How do you feel? Coming up as a nigga in the cash can, living in the fast lane, not for real.
Love the way you activate your hips and push your ass out. Got a nigga wanting it so bad I'm about to pass out. Wanna dig you, and I can't even lie about it, baby. Just alleviate your clothes, time to fly out. Catch you at a club. Oh shit, you got me feeling, body talking shit to me, but I can't comprehend the meaning. Now if you wanna roll with me, then this your chance. Do an 80 on the freeway, police catch me if you can. Forgive me, I'm a rider, still I'm just a simple man. All I want is money, fuck the fame, I'm a simple man. It's the international player with the passport, just like a ladder bitch. Get you anything you ask for, it's either him or me. Champagne, Hennessy, a favorite of my homies when we fall on our enemies. Witness as we creep to a low speed.
So that's our championship. Tupac versus Ice Cube. Remember, vote on X. It's the Twitter thing. At Frizz and Grizz. It's one word. I'll put out the final championship matchup. Probably, today's Tuesday? Probably late Wednesday. We'll open that up for about 4 days, so it's a good amount of time to vote. I'd be surprised if Ice Cube won, but I'm not going to say there's no chance. Never say never. That would be wild, but we'll see what the fans want to do. It's time, D. Let's get out of here. Let's get to our closing takes. Appreciate you guys all for watching. It's our last little hurrah.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
Closing takes. It's time for me and D to go off script. We each get one shot, one ISO opportunity, whatever you want, sports, pop culture, doesn't matter. I'm going to take the ball first, D. I'm ball hog. I got a great one. I saw this story on Wednesday, right after we taped last week, and I'm like, oh, buddy, I got my closing take for next week. Are you ready for the headline?
I'm listening.
Sports headline from the 19th hole. So it's some golf. I know you love your golf.
I have been.
Report. Tiger Woods has eliminated sex in preparation for the 2024 Masters. Tiger.
Abstinence, baby.
No nutting November in the month of April to prepare for the Masters. D, are you in on the abstinence to get ready for the Masters for Tiger Woods?
Way out on that, man. He too old to be doing that, man. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy as much time as you can while you can. So, I mean, I'm glad that he's taking the shit serious. We all know that his back is all fucked up, so we don't need him getting.
Now I know why his back's always.
I'm saying, bro, like, yeah, he be thrusting a little bit too much. Getting old, bro. Let somebody else do all the work. But essentially, I read that same story. I was like, damn, bro, like this is a story. Like we're really talking about this, but I mean, it made headlines, and here we are talking about it.
D, you think what I'm thinking? We put a little juice on Tiger plus 1300 to win the tournament.
You know damn well I'm gonna throw some money on it just because of his name. I think it's still gonna be either John Rahm or
What is his odds? It has
Scheffler. Well, Scheffler is gonna win, but yeah, I'll throw some money on Woods taking it. Why not?
I mean, he's not having sex. What else is he focused on? And we know, his problems in the past have primarily come from sex. So
yep, swinging the stick, and we're not talking about the nylon.
Oh, dude, you deserve a little Kawhi Leonard laugh for that one. Hold on 1 second. That was beautiful. I'll get the odds for Tiger Woods after, so we know how much bread we can throw in it. D, what do you got for me?
So I got a good one, long-winded, but usually we're talking shit and giving disrespect, but I'm actually gonna give a lot of respect to somebody that brought me in and allowed me to like just become a kid again, and that was one Paul Levesque, also known as Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, nice.
Did you watch WrestleMania?
Nah, I didn't watch WrestleMania.
No worries, man. So
Fill me in.
Yeah, so like a great show that essentially recapped everything, like almost like Endgame with the Avengers. Story started with Cody Rhodes back at WrestleMania 39, him losing to Roman Reigns, and it started the story. And essentially, this match would allow people that, The Rock was back in being involved because his cousin is Roman Reigns, the Samoan heritage and whatnot. And it brought you back. It's like, oh man, Rocky's back in wrestling and he's a heel. So like I peeped Raw here and there. I'm like the Dwayne's in it. I'm here for it. But how it ended was perfect. So in the middle of, we'll go ahead and give this out for him because this is. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I'll lower mine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't hear it actually.
Can you hear it?
In my soul, every part control, do it all to get them off the beat. Gravity about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain lights go up.
This part right here.
Whoa.
So the crowd would go nuts when they did that, right? Everybody in the crowd would, oh, it was dope. And so not only did this happen, so Cody Rhodes is fighting Roman Reigns, and then all of a sudden this happens. I'm getting goosebumps right now. So them horns hit and people go fucking nuts. It brought me back to being a little kid because I'm like, dog, all right, John Cena coming back out of nowhere. Like, I'm a big fan of that. And then obviously,
Smell what the Rock is cooking.
and now I know that I said that there was a story behind this, and we had our own show, right, about just wrestling. Who is the WrestleMania figure? The guy that, like, you think WrestleMania, you think of one person. Who would you say it was?
Hulk Hogan?
I guess so, but there was a guy that held a record for the longest undefeated streak for a very, very long time. And out of fucking nowhere, this happened.
Undertaker?
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So that would be the fucking Undertaker. Dog, when I say the place went fucking nuts, everybody went bananas. They had Cena, Rock, Taker, all these old heads, motherfuckers that can't walk down the aisle without limping and whatnot. John Cena got a big ass bald spot, and then Undertaker choke slams The Rock. Cody gets the title from Roman. It was just like one of these crazy moments of like, yo, this like the Avengers, like motherfuckers just came in. Here comes Captain America. Here comes Iron Man. Here comes Hulk. Like there's just one after another of just bringing you back to like the 90s. And Cody Rhodes ends up winning the championship. Just a great story, a great finish for somebody like myself. Like, again, I watched Raw because I was like, oh, I want to see how this like turns out. Very similar to like women's basketball, where could this be like the turn of becoming a fan again? I don't know. We'll see. But like they captured me for a little bit. So I wanted to give, shouts to Triple H for taking over with what we did talk about, the whole McMahon thing. Like we don't go too deep into it, but like he's been taking over as like the head of like the WWE, and he put together a great story. So like it brought me back in. I want to say thank you because like it was cool to be a little kid again, like getting goosebumps in wrestling. Usually you don't, but like certain shit that brings you back.
Let me ask you something. Did you pay for it?
No, I ain't fucking paying for that.
I knew it.
Motherfuckers make enough money. They don't need my money. I'll watch it somewhere for free.
You're like, you're going to bring me back, and I'm not going to give you a fucking dime.
Not a goddamn penny from me. You better put on a show over here at the RCU Center.
By the way, just a quick re-update. Tiger Woods to win the Masters plus 14,000 D. He hasn't had sex plus 14,000. That means you put $10 on 1,400 back. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Don't worry.
I'm just saying.
Sports betting already got my money. God damn it! Why not throw in another $10?
Oh, good fucking show. Get us out of here, man.
All right. We really do appreciate you guys being here when it comes to either watching us live or listening to us tomorrow on all of your platforms. You can find us podcast-wise. So you can find us live here on Twitch. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook streaming live Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Or next day, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any platforms that you can go ahead and get your podcast from. Normally, our website is at the bottom, but it ain't there. My producer didn't put it there for some weird reason.
It was there, and I had to take it down for the tournament thing, so it wasn't in the way.
It's not there right now, so I'm going to just go ahead and say that it's not there. www.frizzandthegrizz.com. You can find us. Obviously, we don't have any merchandise, so you guys can't rep any sweatshirts, but one of these days, we might make it big if you guys hit that sub channel or hit that sub button. Get us paid so that we can go ahead and get you guys some gear. More importantly, while we hitting up out of here, it's the summertime. Be a friend, save a friend, say something nice. I love that phrase. Make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. Please make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals, take care of y'all chicken, take care of y'all children, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.